Happy day 20. Today we're going to do a slow restorative practice with a nice long hold of legs up the wall at the end of the practice. So to start, we'll lay down and you can have a little padding for your head if you'd like. Want to come out? Boone is stuck here. Okay, so we'll come and lie down and keep your knees bent, maybe hands on your belly. And just take a couple breaths to arrive. And then feel a little stability under your hands. Help pressurize your lower back into the floor. So a little stability of the anterior abdominal wall creates stability at the low back, and then you can easily draw your knees in towards your chest. And then taking your knees apart, hold on to your shins, or maybe you grab underneath and hold on to your heels. And just take a couple of deeper breaths with your knees in this Baddha Konasana shape. Good. And then again, pressurize your lower back into the floor. Reach all of your limbs up to the sky. And then just imagine you're like seaweed in a kelp bed, and just let your arms and your legs be very fluid as they just kind of wiggle around, reaching upwards, but in a very kind of loose, relaxed way. Good. And then let your arms fall to the side and reach your legs energetically up to the ceiling now, or the sky. And keep your knees as soft as you need to, so this is not too much for your lower back. And then just slow motion, start to take your feet apart from each other towards a V, and then bring them back together. And just go a couple times, not going to end range, just going to a place that you are enjoying. And this could be more of a happy baby shape, coming in and out. Do what feels best for you. But just playing with keeping your torso really stable as you open and close the legs. And then the next time you bring your feet together, bend your knees and rest your knees in towards your body, hugging with your hands over your legs. Good. Okay. Rolling to your side, have some props nearby for your downward facing dog. So it takes a little guesswork to support your head in downward dog. I'm going to use a block and then pad it a little bit with a blanket, and then know that I can kind of unfold the blanket to take some height away. And then you're spreading your fingertips out wide. Your hands are a little forward of your prop, and then you can kind of adjust as you need to. And you want to rest your forehead on the blanket towards your hairline. And too much height is going to feel jamming for the neck. You want to feel like you could just drop your head into the support, more towards your hair. And when you get this just right, it can feel really soothing. So downward dog is still an energetic pose, by all means, but just that little gentle rest of the weight of your head down into the props can just kind of change the overall feeling, the nature of the pose. And then just be here with your breathing. If the height starts to feel too high after you get used to the pose, then take your time to come down and adjust the height of your props. And just, as you rest here, notice if you're able to kind of maybe relax your breathing a little bit more than you maybe sometimes feel in downward facing dog. Good. And then just as you're ready, come and sit, or you can also rest in child's pose and take a couple breaths. Good. We'll use the props one more time in Restorative Padottanasana, so it's a wide-legged forward fold. Kind of relates to this downward dog shape. So we'll take your time to stand and take your feet wide apart and have your props nearby. The feet are parallel, and then just take a moment to balance the front and back of your torso, hands at your heart, and then we'll just bend into the right knee a bit, and then really push the right leg down to straighten, and then bend into the left knee and straighten. And, you know, I'm leaning a little bit forward, but I'm doing my best to stay relatively upright through the torso. And then you can do one round where you kind of crouch through center, bending both knees to the left and up. And then one more time in this direction. And then reversing that. So bending the left knee, crouch through center to the right, and back up. And one more time. Good. Okay. And then from here, we're just kind of waking up some stability around the hips. We'll come forward and take your hands down to the floor. And, you know, this might be a great place for you to pause if you want to play with a little bit of height under your forehead. Again, it could be a block. My cork block feels just a little bit harsh, so block and a blanket to me feels like just right. And then, you know, really just taking your time to find the right height for you, adjust as you need. Again, it's more into your hairline, dropping into the block or the blanket. This could also be a pillow on top of a block, right? Get creative and just see how can you add a little bit of a soothing quality to, you know, this is a restorative way of practicing this pose, but it still requires stability in your legs. It's still a standing pose. But just noticing this nature of being able to kind of drop and rest the weight of your brain. Let your mind soften a little bit here, even as your body continues to sustain you in this position. And just noticing your breathing. Noticing your feet on the mat, seeing if you can have equal energy down through both feet. And then just slowly you'll walk your hands back under your shoulders and weight your arms. So you unweight your head and then bend both knees softly and toe heel your feet back together, bending your knees a lot, and then slide your elbows up onto your knees. This is kind of a version of Utkatasana. Your gaze can be down, can be nicknamed umpire pose. Good, and then as you feel balance, come up to stand. And just in a very relaxed way, sweep your arms high. And then float the arms down. Okay, Viparita Karani next. So we will, I don't have a bolster, but I have my blanket. I'm going to add a little cushion with a pillow here. And you can take any props that you'd like. Some people prefer a little height just under your head. And you can also do this with your calves on a chair or the couch if you prefer. Okay, so I have my props nearby. And I'm just going to get scooched close to the wall here and come and lay down. And then if you have some height, you're putting under your pelvis, but also maybe a little supportive of your lower back. And you can just play with the right amount of height for you. So some people even would find the bolsters just to be like just a little too much. So maybe in your home practice, you can discover just the right propping for you. Your hands could rest on your belly, or your hands could rest just out comfortably by your sides. And I just encourage you to take the pose that's going to work well for you today. So if your legs slide down the wall a lot, you could switch to putting your calves on a chair, or you could wrap a strap around your thighs. That can help a lot. If you're feeling a lot of gripping at the front of your hip flexors, at the front of your hip crease, then change something. So maybe scooting a little bit further from the wall could help. A little more height under your pelvis, or always you could switch to the more restorative version where your calves are on a chair. And in this legs up the wall position, potentially your belly can be real soft and receptive of your breathing. And just as you rest here, you just continue to come back to being right here, relaxing with your body. Just noticing your in-breath as it just floats into your out-breath. Noticing the heads of your femurs, really just letting them drop towards the back inner lining of your pelvis. And this is a very passive way of connecting with the work we did yesterday in the hip glides. And just seeing if you can do less and just allow these things to shift, to happen in your body. You're breathing, you're relaxing around your hips. Choosing to come back to being right here over and over again. Okay. So this sequence can be great to practice in the evening before bed. And if you're heading towards bed, then you can just relax here for a little bit longer and roll to your side as you're ready. If this was a little midday break and you've got to get back to some things, we can, gently wake ourselves back up with just a very floating reach of your arms up and overhead. And let your elbows be bent so your arms can relax wherever they land, but somewhere higher than shoulder height can be just a little bit energizing and kind of perk us up again. So, just depending on where you're heading after this practice, you can make those subtle adjustments. And then just moving real slow when you come out of this shape. So if your arms have been reaching up overhead, you can take them back down again. You bend your knees and take a breath. And then roll to one side. And it's nice to pause on your side if you can get comfortable here. Maybe your arm is a pillow. Scooting back off your props. Okay. Namaste.